My name is Kim Poovey. I am an indie author and publisher. I have been writing now for about 12 years. My first two novels were traditionally published, and then my publisher went bankrupt, and it kind of threw me into the indie world because I'm not comfortable trusting small presses. And I did with the big five, not that they would have me anyway. But nevertheless, I struggled with indie publishing for probably the first 5 of the 7 years I've been doing it. But now that I've done it several times, it's kind of just routine for me now. And I think there's a lot about indie publishing that people don't realize, a lot of pros, cons, like with anything else. My 8th novel was just released a couple weeks ago. So I write haunted historical fiction. I have 2 series out. One is the Dreamist series about Sarah Holden, who can see dead people in her dreams. The problem is they can see her too. And the other one is Shadows of the Moss. It's historical fiction about an Irish immigrant fleeing persecution and abuse. She stumbles on the Underground Railroad in the process and how their lives intertwine. I have 3 more books on hold that are in the different processes of coming out. So the presentation I'm giving tonight is actually about all forms of publishing, but since we're on a limited time, we're just going to focus on the indie part. And I will have my email address available to anybody who has any questions afterwards. Please feel free to email me, or if you're in the process of going through this insanity, again, feel free to email me and I will happily help you through as any way I can. Let me just start this out by saying I'm technologically impaired. So the fact that I was able to share this tonight is like a major catastrophic thing. And I will be telling all my coworkers at work tomorrow, and they're not going to believe me. So I'm glad you're recording this so they can see that I did it.
YouTube link.
Okay, so you guys can still hear me okay?
Yes, perfectly.
All right, perfect. All right, so indie publishing. You'll hear people refer to it as self-publishing. Years ago, I read somewhere, and I wish I could remember the source, but they kind of broke it down as self-publishing being someone who publishes one book. They may or may not want to distribute to the world. It might be like a genealogical book, that they just want to share with family. And they tend to be your self-publishers. They're not really in it for the long haul. Indie publishing refers to somebody who is either writing 1 or more books and they want this as a career. They want this as a job and an income generating process. Sadly, there's a lot of stigma with self-publishing. So I use indie publishing. It seems to come across a lot more professional and less, oh, well, you couldn't get picked up by a publisher, so you did it yourself kind of mindset. So with that, I'm going to go on to the next slide. There are a lot of pros to indie publishing. 1, you retain your rights at all times. You never have to sign them away. Fortunately for me, when I was traditionally published, my publishing house allowed me to keep my rights the whole time. And it's a good thing because when they went belly up, there were no legal complications to try and get my book back. You have complete control over all aspects, including your release date. Let me just throw in a con for that. For indie publishing, you have complete control over everything. Because it's good and it's bad. And the great thing about indie publishing is you pay your fees up front. For those of you out there who are writers, well, you're all writers, duh, sorry. It's late at night. So as writers, we can't do this alone. You cannot edit your own work. You guys know that. You're going to miss all the mistakes that you made originally because your eyes glossing over it. So you're going to have to, hire editors, possibly cover designers, marketing, publicists, whatever you're going to need. But you pay these fees up front. Whereas if you go with traditional publishing, yes, they might, do everything for free. Or if you're with a big publishing house, give you an advance. So you're going to get everything up front, but then you're going to pay the rest of the book's life that they're with the traditional publisher. So that's just one nice thing, is that you pay up front and then you're done. Everything else comes to you. The cons, expenses are up front. If you don't have the money saved up, it can be a little costly for certain things. A good editor, and I'm talking developmental edits and copy edits, can run anywhere from 1,200 on up, which sounds like a lot of money, but if it's a good person, which I hope you're choosing, it's worth every penny. Writer is responsible for everything. You are the publisher, the publicist, the marketer, you're everything. And it does take time from your writing because you have to do all of this. So those first step, establish your imprint. This is not a necessity. I have an imprint, i.e. my publishing house. It's Dickens Ghost Publishing. It's an LLC. So when you open the front cover of my books and look at the copyright page, it will say Dickens Ghost Publishing. To me, it just looks a little more professional to have that. It's not a requirement. A lot of people just do it with their name, and you're welcome to do that. But I'm always looking for things to spend money on, logos and stickers with the logos, t-shirts with the logos, because it makes you feel good. And custom chucks with the logo. Yeah, it's a bad thing. Depending on which distributor you choose, you may want to purchase your ISBN numbers. ISBN is the identifying number that you see on the back of every book. KDP, which is Kindle Direct Publishing, that is the Amazon's publishing house. Ingram Spark is another publishing house distributor. They both offer free ISBNs now. However, the catch on that one is you don't own the ISBN. So your ISBN is going to be on the back of your cover. So if you pay a cover designer and you have that ISBN on there, it belongs to KDP or Ingram. It does not belong to you. So if you decide that you want to distribute somewhere else, or if a publisher picks you up, you got to redo all that ISBN. However, if you purchase your ISBNs, you own them. It goes with the book no matter where you go. So you don't have that issue. ISBNs are purchased in this country through Bowker.com. Other companies will try and sell you ISBNs. Do not trust them. It's Bowker.com. That's it. It's kind of a monopoly, if you will. But the great thing is with Bowker, if you purchase just one ISBN, it's pretty costly. I think it's like $85 a piece, but they'll offer you packages of like 10 if you're going to do multiple books. 10 ISBNs for $250. So $25 a pop is not, going to break the bank. And like I said, you own that ISBN, so it doesn't matter what you decide to do in the future with your book. You don't have to worry about losing that ISBN and redoing your cover. Barcodes are free from the distributor or your cover designer. I utilize a cover designer, and she's the one that puts the barcode on there. So you do not have to worry about purchasing those. If you get little things in your inbox that say, oh, we'll sell you a barcode, scam, run. Indie publishing and editing. Like I said earlier, you cannot publish your own or edit your own work. You just can't. You're going to have somebody else. If you don't have the money to pay an editor, find all the teacher friends you have, ask librarians, ask people that are in book clubs to read your work and look for grammatical errors, lulls in the storyline. There are ways to do this that are more cost effective, but really the best way is to hire an editor. Developmental editors, there's lots of different phrases for this. It's the term I use. They look at plot, character development, storyline, how it's flowing. Copy editor looks at grammar, punctuation, and spelling. I'm quite blessed. My mother is the grammar guru, and she is my copy editor. Has been since I was about 5 years old. So she's pretty good at it. I do pay a developmental editor. Her name is Charlotte Rains Dixon. She's out of Oregon, and she is fantastic. When choosing an editor, you do the same research you would do if you were hiring a doctor or going with a publishing house. Look at the editorials on them, look at the reviews on them, ask them if they'd be willing to share names of authors that have used them and get their testimonials to make sure that you have a legitimate and positive experience. When you're revising your own work, whether you're getting ready to send it to the editor or even after the, editor sent it back, you still got to read through it. You're still going to gloss over your own mistakes. So try things that will shift your mind. Change the font on the document, change the size, change the color, print it out like in book form, or use the audio review on the Word document where it reads it to you. It's monotone. I can't tell you how many mistakes I catch that all of my editors miss because, again, no one is perfect. But when you're listening to word, you hear the wrong word, form instead of from, those kinds of things that our eyes tend to gloss over. So those are just some little editing tricks. Formatting, again, nightmare and a half for moi. I can use Word, but not very well, just basically type and save. If you're on a Mac computer, this does not include iPads, just a Mac computer itself, a laptop or a desktop. There is Vellum. It is a godsend for those of us who are terrible with technology. It's about $250, but you own the program forever and you can do as many books as you want. You literally take your Word document in all its raw form after you've edited and you just upload it into the Vellum program. You choose the layout, the way you want your book to look, like the font and the fancy stuff at the beginning of chapters. And then you generate and bam, it's print, it's Kindle, it's whatever you want. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And like I said, if I can use it, anybody can use it. For PC users, you've got more work to do. There is Adobe InDesign, Microsoft Word, Scrivener, and Reezy. I cannot recommend any of these because I've never used them. But these are what is available for PC because, of course, you have to have your book formatted before you upload to your distributor. Have I lost you guys yet?
No, no.
Okay. I just don't want to miss anything. Okay, cover design. Many of you have probably heard of Jane Friedman. She's kind of the guru of all things business in the way of writing in this country. She did an informal study a few months ago and just asked, what would make you buy a book from an author you didn't know? And 750 people responded. And believe it or not, the number one reason that they would try an unknown author is high recommendation from a friend. So all you writers out there, when your friends are posting about their new books or poetry sessions, share it. It doesn't cost you anything, and it really helps that author out. Number two was the cover. The don't judge the book by the cover is a falsehood. We all know it. How many times have you seen that cover and been like, oh, I want to read that book? You might read the book and say, the cover was better. But what can I say? The third thing was the title and the blurb on the back. Reviews and who published it, way down. Readers don't care who publishes your book. All they care about is the story something that's meaningful to them and are they going to enjoy it? So your cover is vitally important. As an indie author, it's even more important to make sure that the spine of your cover is just as fabulous as the front and the back, because 95% of the time, our books are going to be shelved. They're not going to be facing out. We're not, Stephen King, or John Grisham. So your spine needs to catch attention. It needs to be beautiful. Ingram Spark and Amazon both have cover design templates where you can do your own cover. If you have that gift, then hallelujah, do it. It's going to save you a bundle. As it is, cover design, a good cover designer is going to range you probably about $700 on up. There is also a cover designer on Canva. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Canva. It's a rabbit hole for me because, again, somebody developed a technological something that a 2-year-old could do, and I can do it too. And so you can do cover designs of that. Again, if you're good at that thing, great. You have to be able to upload that cover on the templates that go up onto Amazon and in Ingram Spark. And I've never been able to, it's rocket science to me. So hiring a cover designer is not a bad idea. I was using Rena Violet. She has done probably my last 4 or 5 book covers. She is astounding, but she's been discovered. And so it's about an 8-month wait, and that can be difficult in an indie author's timelines. My mother and several of my other author friends use a company called eBook Launch. They are out of Canada. They do an outstanding job. They'll consult with you and everything, get you a beautiful cover made for about $600, and they do it in about 2 weeks. And like I said, my mother's just done her second book cover with them, and several of my other author friends have used them with great success. Rena and eBook Launch and several other book designers, again, if you're on a budget, they will have pre-made covers that you can select from, and they'll put your author information and everything on it. And those usually run about $250, $300. So you can save some money if you get one that's already pre-designed. It's important when hiring a cover designer, find out what their turnaround time is, how many free revisions and changes. Do they advertise their book on their website? Will they upload your design template onto the Ingram or Amazon KDP templates? Rena did all of that for me. I believe ebook design will upload onto one template, and there's a small fee if you want them to do a second template. So when I explain a little bit more about how I do publishing, I'll explain why that's important. Ingram Spark in a nutshell. Ingram Spark is major, catastrophically big. They are a worldwide distribution system. They are the major distributor for printing and distributing books in this country. If you upload onto Ingram Spark, the second your book is released, if you do both ebook and print, because you have a choice, you can do both or one or the other. It's immediately up on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Books a Million, Kindle, all the ebook sites. All right. You don't have to do anything. It's just poof, it's there. Libraries and bookstores order from Ingram Spark. They do not order from Amazon. Amazon has a little program you can click the box and say, oh, I want to be, distributed to, libraries and bookstores. Libraries and bookstores are not ordering from KDP. They're just not. So it looks really nice, but don't trust it. So if you want your books carried in bookstores outside of your local area, or you want libraries across the country order it, you're going to have to go with Ingram Spark. Uploading to Ingram Spark, if you're a novice or even experienced, can be a nightmare. For most people, it'll probably be easier. For me, it was not. But once you get to it, it's great. Customer service, kind of slow and spotty. You can only email them. There's no chats. There's no calls. So emails it, and you usually have to wait up to 48 hours for a response. When you're going through Ingram Spark, there's going to be 1,000 questions. At least it feels that way. Talking about standard discounts for booksellers, you want to do the typical 55% discount if you want bookstores to carry your book. It does crimp in on your profits, but if you want a wider distribution, this is what you're going to have to do. You're also going to want to check that you allow for returns. If a bookstore goes to order your book, say in California, because you've written a book, you live here, but you've written a book about California, and they see that you don't allow for returns, they're just going to keep scrolling, because they're not going to risk their money on somebody they don't know. Let's see. We talked about templates. There are price calculators on Ingram Spark that will help you decide how much you need to charge for your book in order to make money, and it won't let you do anything that will put you in the negative. So there is that. Ingram Spark to make price changes or any metadata changes. Metadata is the information, the words that will get your book out there in searches. Making changes is really extraordinarily difficult. And I'll discuss how KDP is a little easier for that in a minute. Let's see. When you do get your books, when you order bulk books from Ingram Spark, just page through every one of them, because they've been known to send me a Shadows of the War and it's got truer words inside. They make mistakes. So always check before you go to bookstores and sell, so you don't have people coming back saying, what the heck is this? Let's see. When you publish through Ingram and you go to bookstores, let them know you can order through Ingram. Or if you talk to them on the phone, because that's a comforting thing for a bookstore. Let's see. KDP or Amazon. Amazon is a piece of cake to upload to. It's just so much easier. Great customer service. You can chat, you can call, you can email. It's a very user-friendly program. The quality is almost as good as Ingram in the print books. And you do have a slightly higher profit margin on KDP. If you want to change the price or change anything in it, it's so much easier. I mean, it just takes a few minutes and then you click save and it's done. If you're going to be distributing through Amazon, the Kindle program, there's something called Kindle Unlimited. You are not going to make much money off this. You only get paid for the number of pages the reader reads. However, serious readers usually do the Kindle Unlimited, or KU as it's referred to. They pay $10 a month and they can read all the books they want for that $10. Doesn't matter the price tag of the book if you are on that Kindle Unlimited program. So for unknown authors, a person in Nevada might be looking and saying, oh, wow, this looks good. It's not going to cost me anything. I think I'll give it a try. And it's a good way to get readers hooked. So that actually is going to, you don't make a lot of financial gain from that initially, but it will pay off in the long run in getting readers. Royalties, you guys will have access to this. This kind of breaks down your royalties. I'm going to do a little comparison on KDP and Ingram and kind of show you my formula. My print distribution, I don't do any ebooks through Ingram. I just do my print distribution because I want my books carried in libraries and bookstores across the country. And I like the fact that I don't have to put it up on Amazon. I don't have to put it up on Barnes and Noble. Ingram does all that. But like I said, it's sketchy when I have to make a change. Like say I need to change the price or my metadata words to, for search finders. Amazon, like I said, it's much easier. So I publish my ebooks through Kindle because I think almost everyone in the world reads on a Kindle. You can get a Kindle on your laptop, your iPad, your phone. Most people use Kindle, so it's a great way to go. Say I want to have a 99-cent sale on one of my books on Kindle. All I have to do is go in there, make a couple of clicks, hit save. I've got my 99-cent sale. And then a week later, I can put it back up to the price tag I want. That's the beauty of the Kindle, publishing through Amazon. What I'm doing now is I'm also publishing print through Amazon of my books because Amazon has caught on to the fact that we were all using them. And apparently they're not happy about that. So if you know anything about readers, they don't want to have to search for things. So if you go on Amazon, a lot of times you'll see an author and it'll have their print book, it'll have their ebook, all in one page. Not if you're publishing through Ingram. They will no longer connect the two. So you'd have your print out here in La La Land and your Kindle over here in Na Na Land. So now I am printing my books through both Ingram and Amazon so that my Amazon print book will link with my ebook. I know that sounds really complicated. It's not. And honestly, it's cheaper for me to order my print books through Amazon than it is Ingram. So I'm using both companies at this point. And that's a very common practice for a lot of indie authors. Let's see, I'm going to skip down here. Marketing is a whole another ball of wax. It's pure unadulterated insanity. Just saying, if you're going to be an indie author, you probably have heard people say find comp titles for your book because you're going to want to stalk their readers and kind of pull them in. The comp titles for my book is Karen White's Trad Street series. That's the comp title for my Haunted series. Pricing, again, use the price calculators on these sites. Also look at the price tag of other books in your genre. That'll help you kind of figure it out. Book fairs are great for selling your books, or not great for selling your books, but for networking and getting your name out there. Make sure you have business cards. You have to have a website, newsletters, social media presence, all that good stuff. Like I said, there's a lot out there, and I could do a whole thing on marketing alone, but as an indie author, marketing is important. So like I said, I'm trying to stay under the timeline. That's about the nuts and bolts of indie publishing. Like I said, once you've done it, it gets easier and easier. You have complete control. You don't have a publisher saying, no, you can only write in this genre. You can't write in multiple genres. I mean, Stephen King, if he wants to do a children's book, has to publish it himself because his publisher won't do it. That's not his genre. I've known publishing houses that told authors, oh, you killed this character off and we like them, put it back in. Y'all, this is our story. Suggestions are fine, but it's our work. And that's the beauty of indie publishing, is that you have total control. You're going to work your butt off. But what writer doesn't? So, is it possible to ask questions, or?
Yeah, absolutely. You ready for questions now?
Yes, yes.
Open questions? Yes, go.
The for the covers, you said ebook launch was the name of one of them, and the other was Rena who?
Violet, Violet.
Thank you.
She does a lot of fantasy where she can create, like, if you want to do a map of your fantasy world, she does the whole thing. I mean, she's very artistic.
I
Yeah.
like fantasy.
She's very expensive too.
That's okay.
Super. And these, we're going to make your slides available to the members as well.
Absolutely, not a problem.
We're going to have a copy of the slides on our website. And
Sure.
and then this will be on YouTube and it'll be
public.
yourself.
So that's public.
Yeah, it's public.
You okay with being public? Yeah.
Huh?
You okay with all this being public? on
Oh,
YouTube?
absolutely, not a problem.
Thank you. Other questions from members? Yeah, go ahead.
Kim, could you talk a little bit about the way you market, like telling ghost stories, the costumes that you make, all of that kind of stuff? This is Robin.
Oh, hey, Robin, how are you?
Info.
Okay, so the costumes, I used to make Victorian era costumes from 1860s and 1880s, and I always wore those at my book signings, but I put on 26 pounds and can't get into them anymore, so they're stored in the attic until I can lose some weight. It's good to have a brand, and my brand is somewhere between spooky and Victorian, and thankfully, due to Adam's family, I can combine those two well. That was my lugger. He lugs the books. My roadie, yeah, he just walked through here. Marketing, like I said, establish your brand. What makes you you, and what makes your books part of you. Social media is vitally important, but you don't have to do it all. Choose a couple that work for you. I use Facebook and Instagram. I have an author page for both. I would highly recommend that you do an author page. You can link that to your regular page. It's fairly easy to do. I use a place here in Beaufort called Alpha Graphics. They're insanely affordable. I mean, seriously affordable. If I did it through Vistaprint, it was going to be like $1.50 for each bookmark. It's 30 cents through them. So, and it's a good quality. So I give out bookmarks. I also do a thing, you know, the little rat cards. I have all my books listed on that with a brief description, so that when people are in line to buy books, instead of me having to tell them about each book, I just hand them a card and they can be reading through while they're standing in line and figure out what books they want. I also do stickers. People love stickers. Stickers, y'all, stickers. See, I don't care how old you are. We want the stickers. Think about it. You go to vote. You're not leaving without your sticker, right? Right. Yeah. So, though, you know, those are anything that can get your name out there is great, especially public speaking. You know, I do public speaking on stuff like this now. Ghost stories. I'll be doing ghost stories at Sassafras on Carteret in October, and then a book signing to follow. So anything that you are an expert in or specialize in is a great way, you know, do presentations at libraries or conferences. and that will help. So marketing doesn't have to cost a lot of money. You can do it affordably, but again, it takes a lot of time. Newsletter is your number one marketing tool. Sending out an email newsletter, because it really gets through to your readers, and hopefully they spread it to other people and share it. Make sure you have a landing page, which is just somewhere they can sign up for the newsletter easily. If you go to my website, kimpoovey.com, as soon as you click on my website, the first thing that comes up is the thing that says subscribe. And they can either click X or they can subscribe. So that's an important marketing tool as well. Did that answer the question?
Yes,
Okay.
I have a question.
yes, go ahead.
Sure.
So if I have a book that's with Amazon, with this other England Spark.
Okay, say it one more.
Can you be on Amazon and Ingram Spark at the same time?
Yes, absolutely. And you can use the same, if you own your ISBN number, you can use it. It's just on the book. It's because if you own your ISBN numbers, you don't use the one from Amazon or Ingram, it belongs to you, which means it's assigned to your book. Whereas if you use an Ingram, the free ISBN on Ingram, you can't turn around and use that same ISBN on Amazon because it belongs to Ingram. Does that make sense?
Or you could still do it. So you have two ISBN numbers,
Do you
Yeah,
need two ISBN numbers?
Two ISBN numbers.
You do
correct?
not. You do
Use
not.
the same ISBN for the same book.
You own it.
Okay, so you have the one ISBN number, say for paperback, but if you decide to do a hardcover has to have a different ISBN. But say that my Shadows of the War book, it's in paperback. I have the same it's the ISBN number I assign to that book is the one that I own. So it's the same one for Ingram and it's the same one on Amazon. Does that clarify it?
And if you were to,
Amazon owns your ISBN number, then you can't use it then with England Sparks.
Exactly, yes.
and vice versa.
Yeah, but I mean, most of your indie authors are publishing on both sites because there's benefits to both. And I'm finding that I do much better if I use both.
So Kim, I learned this the hard way 2 years ago. They said the free ISBN number that KDB assigns to you for hardcover. Then when I had the paperback,
Mhm.
I had to keep, just doing this because I didn't want to own anything. I heard about the Bowker, whatever that's called,
Docker.com.
yeah, and then I heard about Ingram Spark, and then I was told that that's the place to go, and then I went through all the hell you just talked about earlier with that. So they all own. I have 5 different ISBNs. They're not mine. I wish I had bought the package earlier, but I didn't. So
Live and learn.
What do I do? I mean, do I do anything with it? Just let it be as it is in 5 different places.
Since you've already got them through both organizations, distributors, I would leave it alone. If you wanted to, like, say, go and start publishing through Lulu or BookBaby, then you're going to have to probably purchase your own. But I wouldn't, because it is a nightmare. I accidentally assigned the wrong ISBN number to Shadows of the War that belonged to one of my other books. Total catastrophic blow up. I mean, all of a sudden the book that it was originally assigned to on Amazon had the book, Dickens Mice had the cover for Shadows of the War. Yeah. So I feel your pain. I would leave it alone. I don't think it's worth trying to go through and change everything.
Well, I have 5 out there now. So the question is for the same book. So the thing is, can I consolidate, or that's not possible?
Yeah, I think you could, but you would have to have your ISBN put on the back cover of the book.
Yes.
And then you're going to have to reload to Ingram and to Amazon with that new ISBN number. And it's going to get a little confusing because you've got ISBNs for that same book on both. So I'm not sure how that would work to take the one down that you have right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish I could answer that more clearly.
That's all right. It's okay.
Other questions?
Question though, it's a little.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
And just a quick question on the ISBNs. If you were to leave hypothetically Amazon and or Ingram Spark and go to a different publisher, you wouldn't have to change ISBNs, is that correct? Yeah, so.
No,
it-
not
it
unless
stays
your
with it.
publisher wants to own the ISBN.
Right,
um,
why would you ever wanna do that?
Exactly,
Well,
exactly.
I get to that point, my question, so Amazon assigned me a free one, Ingram Spark assigned me a free one, Barnes and Noble assigned me a free one. Now the question is, to Henrik's question, how does that, because they own it, right? I don't own it.
That is my understanding. It's like they're leasing it to you.
Correct. They
Yeah,
assigned it, so it's free, but it's theirs, it's not mine.
exactly, exactly.
Right.
That was the way it was explained to me, and it made sense. Because I started, I was like, oh wow, I don't have to buy any more ISBN numbers. And then I read the articles and I was like, oh, never mind, I'm gonna keep buying my ISBN numbers.
But just because they own the ISBN doesn't mean.
Correct. No, they don't own the content. You own the content. But like I said, say that you had only published through Ingram Spark and you used their free, and then you decided you wanted to switch and also publish through Amazon. You couldn't use their ISBN because Ingram owns it. See what I'm saying? So since I own my ISBN number, I can use that same ISBN on all my books, no matter where I publish.
Yeah, I understand that now.
Okay,
After
that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't always express myself well, so.
No, you're good, keep going,
Do
sorry.
you have a lawyer that you work with?
Not for this. No, that's for the other job. Yeah. No, I don't. Like I said, I have an LLC for my publishing company. Easy peasy paperwork. I think you pay, like $110, to do the original setup, and then that's it. Yeah, no, I don't have an attorney, but I have a copyright page. Like I said, I own all the rights to everything. I make sure that I give credit, like I said, on the inside page of my books, to who did the cover design. And Vellum automatically says we're the ones that formatted it. It's just, they're like, Vellum formatted. Okay, yeah, gotcha. So did that answer the question?
All this is in the slides, so, all I have to do is read your slides and know what to do.
Well, I hope so. Now, remember, this is all the way I do it. This is what I've based on my experience and my research. You are going to be able to go out there and find other people with different experiences and probably different research, because that's the world. But this is what I have learned from other authors, and a lot of webinars and a lot of reading and a lot of mistakes. Shut up, Daryl. My husband's back there yelling money.
Not free.
Yeah.
Kim?
Any other questions?
Yeah, sorry, was there another question? Nope.
Okay, again, I think on the last slide, hold on. Yes, is all my information. If y'all have any questions, or if you get hung up on something with Ingram or KDP, please email me and I will happily try and help you. I can't promise I can, but I'll do my best to help you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Guys,